Have you ever wondered what makes gym rats so intimidating, superheroes so iconic, final bosses so final bossy? Well, you probably know where I'm going with this.
It's strength.
And in Lethal Company, strength isn't just about getting heavy loot back to the ship, it's about survival. And the monsters in this game are gonna make sure you don't do that. You're gonna aura farm at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aura farming.
Oh,
What you guys can
oh wait! Oh!
Did everyone just died?
What the what?
Oh!
Yo!
Oh, that scared me.
With version 70, there are now currently 26 monsters in the game, and today I'm going to be ranking them from 26 to 1 based off of how beefed out they are. My rankings are going to be based off of a few factors. The first is physical strength, so how large or small a monster is, or what physical feats they have, so what they can pick up, and especially things that they can put down. But it's not just about offense. The second point is going to be about defense and endurance, so how many hits a monster can take, or whether or not they're And some things that can change up some spots are the monster's IQ, their abilities, and whether or not that they're strong as a single or if they need groups of them to be strong, like hoarding bugs, for example. Like my other rankings, I'm going to be making a tier list from Puny tier to OP tier that you'll be able to see at the end of the video so you can gauge visually how each monster compares to each other. Alright, let's cut out the chit chat and let's get right into it. Kicking off this ranking, at the number 26 spot for the puniest monster in the game, I got the Manticore. The Manticore has 0 feats to its name. It can't really do much in the game besides just fly. It's just a normal bird. It's a non-aggressive monster, so it doesn't attack you, and it only takes 1 hit to kill it. So it's really weak in defense and it has 0 offense. So adding all that up, it's just the weakest monster in the game. Right there with them at the number 25 spot, I have the Tulip Snakes. The Tulip Snakes are like just little M&Ms that just fly around your screen doing stuff. They're also one shot just like the Manticore, but they got one up in the fact that they actually can kill you. They have the potential to, but that's not really their intent. They're actually just trying to impress the Huzz. They need like 3 of them or like 2 of them to even attempt to kill you, and even then it's not that likely that you're gonna die to them. So their offense is really weak and they have like 0 defense, so this spot suits them well. For the 24th spot, I have the Snare Flea. Now it's brethren in one shot. Just like the Tulip Snakes, it takes 1 shovel hit to kill them, but the thing about the Snare Flea is that it actually has like decent offense. It wraps around your head and it just excruciatingly molds your head into death and you're gone. So like the last 2 spots, it has 0 defense, but it has a little bit, got like medium offense, so it puts it at this spot. And for the 23rd spot, at the top of the Puny tier, I have the Roaming Locusts. Surprisingly, they're not last this time in this tier list. And I know it sounds crazy that they're above the other 3, but just hear me out. They have max defense. They have the same amount of defense as like a coil head. If you swing at them, they're just gonna fly away and then recollect somewhere else. They just can't be killed. They have 0 offensive capabilities, but they have max defense potential. So it just rounds them out to be right here. They're still in the Puny tier, that's why they're here, but I still put them above the other 3, but they're all close. All right, that rounds off the Puny tier, and now let's move on to the weak tier of monsters. The weakest of the weak, at the number 22 spot, I have the Hoarding Bug. Unlike the tier below where they all get 1 shot, the Hoarding Bug's way more durable, in which it takes 3 hits to kill it. Its attack is okay, it just goes in a straight line. Though it does have some speed to it, it goes really fast, but it only accelerates when it's going in a straight line, so it's really easy to dodge it and kill it. So those 3 hits are actually really easy to get onto the Hoarding Bug. Though the Hoarding Bug does benefit from strength in numbers when there's a multiple of them that spawn in one spot and they all group up together to try and kill you. So it has some decent strengths and abilities and better durability, but it's still weak in comparison to the other monsters. It's very counterable, so it gets this spot. At the 21st spot, I have the Spore Lizard. Now the reason I have it here above the Hoarding Bug is because it has maximum durability, which means it's invincible pretty much. Not even pretty much, it's just invincible. You can't even kill it. If you try hitting it, it retreats into a corner, and if you keep bothering it while it's in that corner, it got some purple mist for you. And if you keep bothering it in that purple mist, then it will start attack. The bites are pretty weak. It only takes like 10 damage, I think, so its attack is not very strong, but its durability just spikes it up here because it's impossible to kill. I think about it like this: if I had the Hoarding Bug and the Spore Lizard fighting against each other, the Spore Lizard would surprisingly win because the Spore Lizard would just win in the battle of endurance. So that's why I have it here at the 21st spot. At the 20th spot, I have the Masked Hornets. They're here for the same gimmick that the Spore Lizard is here for, the fact that they're invincible, but I would say that they're a much more aggressive entity, which is why that they're higher than the Spore Lizard. monster. When you try and hit them, it doesn't do anything. You'll get a hit sound effect, but it doesn't actually affect them. They stay flying towards you to kill you. They do about 10 or 20 damage per hit, I think. So their damage output isn't that high, but they're really lethal when they get up close to you because they'll get a lot of damage in really quickly. They could be dangerous, but they're really slow, so they're easy to avoid. Though if there's other monsters in the building, it'll be hard to avoid them, but if it's just them singularly them individually that you have to deal with, they're not that hard to deal with. It's just bugs that's chasing you. You'll be alright. At the 19th spot, I have Baboon Hawk. The Baboon Hawks are actually more durable in that they take one more hit to kill than the hoarding bugs. And what makes them tougher is that they actually have even stronger strength in numbers, in which they're typically always in groups, where hoarding bugs, you can actually find them isolated and singled out because they're normally just doing their own thing. But Baboon Hawks, they gang up on you always, anytime they get. If you run into a bigger one with more leadership status, then you're gonna find a lot of smaller ones with it, so his gang is gonna be stronger than you would if you found a smaller one that's normally on its own. And alone, its attacks are pretty strong. It pokes you really quickly, and if you let it run up on you, then it will kill you quicker than you can kill it. With all that stacked up, it's actually building up to be a pretty powerful monster. But the thing is, if you find one alone, if you're fighting one singularly, you can piece them up because they do get scared and they tend to only want to be in groups. So if you don't find them in a group, you can definitely beat up on one. They're free eats. It's strong, but all that rounds off to be at the 19th spot because all the other monsters above are just way stronger. Except for this next one, because it's like, this one's debatable, I'm not gonna lie. At the top spot of the weak tier, I have the Hygrideer at number 18. Now, I have it here because the Hygrideer, just like the other three, are invincible. There's no way to actually kill this blob. And the difference between the Hygrideer and the Mass Hornets is that even though they're both aggressive monsters, the Mass Hornets do like 10 or 20 damage per hit. The Hygrideer, I'm pretty sure two-shots you. It does like 50 health or something like that. If you get stuck in the center of the Hygrideer, that's your life. The only thing about the Hygrideer and the Mass Hornets is that they're both really slow and really easy to avoid. But if there's other monsters, like when you're in game, they can get in the way and make your time difficult when you're in there. But alone, singularly, individually, they are not that hard to avoid. They're really slow, which is what holds them back in strength. And that rounds off the weak tier. And now we're going to be moving on to the average strength tier. And these monsters are going to be the ones that you're more commonly dying to. When you think of strong and OP monsters, these are where you're going to start with. Starting off the average strength tier, at the number 17 spot, I have the Thumper. The Thumper is really fast in that it accelerates in a straight line just like the hoarding bug. But the thing about the Thumper is that it goes way faster than the hoarding bug ever does. I think it's a bit stronger. It takes about 4 hits, I think, from the Thumper to kill you. The biggest strength the Thumper has is its speed, but the thing about it is its attacks are very telegraphed, so it's easy to dodge. Its speed paired with its attack damage makes it already strong enough, and it's hard to hit it even when it's running that fast at you. But it's one of the dumbest monsters in the game, and once you learn its attack patterns and know how to kill it, it's pretty easy to avoid. At the number 16 spot, I have the Bunker Spider. Similar to the Thumper, it's actually kind of hard to kill it because of the way of how it runs up on you, and you have to be up close to kill it unless you have the gun. But I'd say an area that a Bunker Spider locks down is actually much harder to get through than if you had to get past the Thumper, because a Thumper you can actually avoid pretty easily, but a Bunker Spider will camp out an area and set up traps to try and kill you. I think the Bunker Spider is actually stronger, in which it takes 2 or 3 hits to kill you, and it's not even that slow too. It moves at the same speed as you're walking, so if you're sprinting you'll get away from it, but if you're walking it will actually keep up with you. And if you have a shovel on you, which actually weighs like 30 pounds, that slows you down, so when you're walking with the shovel, the spider can actually walk up on you, which is what makes it so difficult to actually kill it. It's a smarter monster, but it doesn't make up for the spots that the monsters above it have. It mainly takes the edge up on the Thumper because it takes 5 hits to kill instead of 4 like the Thumper does. But it's definitely a dangerous monster and something that you commonly die to. At the number 15 spot, I have the Circuit Bees. The Circuit Bees are very aggressive like the Bunker Spider and the Thumper, but the Circuit Bees are invincible, which in my head puts them above those two. Those Circuit Bees don't have as high of attack damage as the Spider and the Thumper. The Circuit Bees are really aggressive and really fast in their own right. Sure, you could just avoid them completely by just not interacting with their hives, but if they do lose their hives, or if there's Circuit Bees out on the loose, they're really aggressive, and if they find you, you're most likely going to die. There's nothing you can really do about them. They're one of those monsters that if they catch you in their sights, it's over. It's GG's. And when you're trying to escape the bees, it feels bad because they're invincible. You can't fight back, which is why they're so strong, which is the exact reason that I have them right here. At the number 14 spot, I have the Mast. Besides maybe the Thumper and the Bees, the Masks are faster than every other monster on this list. That's because they can sprint at the same speed as the player. Not that fast, but it's fast enough to be strong. Not to mention their kill condition isn't like the other monsters. All they need to do is touch you and they one-shot you. That's your life. Combine that with the fact that it takes 4 hits to kill them and the fact that they can be inside and outside of the building and even hide on the ship, I think that makes them really strong. At the number 13 spot, I have the Nutcracker. The Nutcracker is very powerful, as everybody knows. They got their shotgun, they got their powerful kick, and both of those could potentially one-shot you. If you're far enough away from the shotgun, you can actually tank a hit, but doing this, you're really playing with your life. You have to be really quiet around the Nutcracker, if not, it will just find your location and stomp you out or shoot you in the back of your head. So obviously, their offense is really strong, but their defense is slept on too. It takes 4 hits to kill them, so for most people, killing them is not even an option because you risk getting one shot even attempting to try and kill them. And then even with that, the area that they control, they move decently fast. They just don't move a long ways because they stop and patrol. That wraps up the average strength tier, and now we're moving on to the strong tier. These monsters and up are like there's no counter to them, or if there is, it's very hard to counter them. You're more likely than not going to run away from these monsters or try and avoid them than attempt to kill them like you can with the monsters below. Starting off the strong tier, at the number 12 spot, I have the Bracken. Now the Bracken is a really OP monster. It sneaks up on you, it's extremely fast, it's one of the smartest monsters in the game. It just hides behind corners and creeps up behind you and one-shots you when it does attack you. But the thing about it is it takes 3 hits to kill. Its durability is actually really weak, but its strength, attack, its abilities, and all its IQ all together, that package is really strong, and it puts the Bracken up here. But all the monsters above it are actually really durable and have one-shot capabilities similar to the Bracken. And honestly, the Bracken is actually kind of avoidable. As long as you're locked in and you keep checking your back and you make sure the Bracken isn't too angry, you can actually keep the Bracken at bay. Unlike the next spot, which is so much harder to deal with when it's on the map. And that next spot, at the number 11 spot, is the Coilhead. Now the Coilhead is invincible, so of course it's gonna get that up on the Bracken, and it almost one-shots doing 90 hits of damage, so its attack is almost on par with the Bracken. It's not as smart as the Bracken. It follows you around and it can lose you, but the thing about it is that invincibility just puts it up there. And when you have to deal with staring at a Coilhead, if not, it will run at you at really high speeds. It's just so hard to deal with. The Coilhead runs really fast. I think it might be the fastest monster in the game besides maybe the Jester. So when you have to deal with the Coilhead moving at those speeds, it can one-shot you and it has all that durability. It's just really strong. At the number 10 spot, I have the Eyeless Dog. This is another really strong monster. It doesn't have as much durability as some of the other monsters. But when I say the other monsters, I just mean the invincible ones. But even though its durability is not invincible, it has 12 HP. 12 is basically invincible in this game. It's really hard to actually get 12 hits of damage onto a monster. And of course, like the other monsters, it's extremely fast. It's not as fast as the Coilhead, but it's fast enough that you can't outrun it if it does attack you. The mechanic that the dog can hear really well, so you can't be loud around it at all, is really strong because it takes away one of your senses completely. The Eyeless Dog can get away with having strength in numbers too, because there's possibilities that there will be 3 or even 4. Sometimes if it's eclipsed, 7 dogs outside. And when there's a lot of them, it's so unbearable to deal with them because you can't make any noises at all. And if you accidentally run into them, that's your life. At the 9th spot, I have the Butler. Now, even though it doesn't one-shot you, its damage output is so strong and so fast that it basically does one-shot you when it attacks you. If you can get away from it or de-aggro it with teammates, you can survive its attack. But if you're solo, which is what puts the Butler up here mostly, it's basically the end of your run if you run into a Butler. It's so fast when it pulls out its knife, and its durability, although it's low, even if you do kill it, it has a 2-stage attack where it basically just turns into bugs that are invincible, and there's not much you can do about it. And the bugs will probably finish you off if the Butler didn't. Oh, and the Butler explodes when you do kill it, so it has an extra surprise attack. The Butler takes 4 hits to kill it, but its damage output is so fast that if you're attacking it, it'll probably kill you before you kill it. Unless you get the jump on it and you have stuns or something, you're more likely than not to die to it. At the number 8 spot, I have the Forest Keeper. The Forest Keeper takes 38 hits to kill it. It's basically invincible. There's no way you're actually gonna get 38 hits on it because like most of the other monsters in this tier, if it grabs you, that's your life. It one-shots you. And with all that health, it's basically just not feasible to even try and kill it. It has really strong eyesight, so if it sees you from a really large radius, it's going to walk you down. And when it does walk you down, the forest keeper has some legs. He runs really fast, so it's pretty much impossible to avoid it unless you have full stamina and nothing on you and you're really close to any type of exit, a fire exit or the main exit. Unless you're near one of those, if you're caught out with your pants down, the forest keeper is gonna kill you. At the number 7 spot, I have the giant sapsucker. This is the new giant bird that was just added to the game in version 70. And this thing is OP. It's basically no killing it. It's 28 hits of health to kill it with a shovel. So it's pretty much impossible to kill it because that's way too much. Even with 4 people, you're all going to die before you get 28 hits. I'm not sure how much its damage output is. I don't think it's that high, but just look at this. You're not escaping the sapsucker if it attacks you. Ah! That was all you, Micah. I was on it by myself until you stepped up. Yo, big bro. Ah! Oh! Wait, no, he's good. He's chill. He's chill. Yo, big bro, what's up with you? What the? It's extremely fast, up there with like the coil head in them. And even though you can avoid it, if you are in its way, you're just not getting past it. At least with the giant, you can at least hide behind trees or you can hide behind other objects to avoid it. But if you have the sapsucker's egg, or if you've angered it or you're in its territory, you're pretty much dead. You could juke it and you can barely make it out sometimes if you're lucky, because it does go in a decently straight line. You can actually maneuver past it, but typically it's just going to kill you because its tracking is immaculate. At the number 6 spot, I have the man-eater, another new addition to the game and just as strong. It may seem like it's feasible to kill it because it has 5 hits of health, but if you touch that man-eater, you're basically dead. The man-eater has a really strong leap and it dashes at you and it kills you instantly. Its one-shot capabilities are really strong in this game. It's on the ground speed when it's in its adult form is decently fast, can outmaneuver it and get away from it. But if you're in its area, it will stalk you out and it will follow you. And when it does get to you, it's way faster than you because of its dash. And the cooldown is pretty fast too. So even if you do try to kill it, you'll maybe get one hit in before its cooldown is over and it will just kill you. So the man-eater is extremely strong, high attack. Even though its durability is not that high, it's still one of the higher ones compared to the other monsters lower on the list. And its attack is so good that it's basically invincible. And that wraps up the strong tier. The next spots are all the top 5 in the OP tier. And when I say OP, these monsters are OP. Every single one of these are run on sight every time you see them. And let me show you what I mean by kicking it off with the number 5 spot, the barber. Another invincible monster. Just like most of these, actually every single one of these in the top 5 is invincible. So we don't even got to worry about durability when it comes to these 5. It really comes to their offensive output when it comes to these top 5 placements. But they're all extremely OP. The barber spawns on its own, but there will be a master barber. And when it does spawn, it has that strength in numbers like some of the other monsters have. And they're all invisible. So you won't even know where all the other barbers surrounding it are. If you get too close to the barber, it snips you. They patrol an area and look for you, and when they do find you, they're gonna follow you around. Though the barber, I'd say, is the easiest to avoid because it does follow a snare beat and it will show you, which tells you the beat on which it's going to move. It moves a decent bit, but it's actually pretty slow compared to a lot of the monsters down below. But if you're in the same area as the barber, your life is in high danger and the only thing you can do is run. At the number 4 spot, I have the jester. The barber has run on sight. The jester has leave the building at all costs on sight. Though the jester is peaceful when you first see it, and it's invincible, so if you try hitting it, it won't even aggravate it. It doesn't do anything to it. It just eats all of those. And when it starts activating, you have about 30 to 45 seconds, I believe, to leave the building. And if not, that's going to be your life because it exponentially runs faster as it looks for everybody inside the building. The only way to calm the jester down is if you leave the building, and even then, it will find you again and it will crank up again and try and kill you. At the number 3 spot, I have the old bird. The old bird is an extremely OP monster. All the monsters in the below tiers that are outside, the old bird actually kills them. The giant with 38 hits of HP that will be outside and it's impossible for you, the player, to kill. The old bird takes care of that for you, which is the one thing I do love about that thing. If there's old birds and other crazy monsters outside, the old birds will actually deal with them. But the old birds don't discriminate when it comes to monsters and players because if they see you, they're gonna kill you too. They're kind kind of avoidable. You can kind of get away from them, but they have a giant cone of vision, so they can see on all sides of them, and they can fly. They can see below when they're up in the air. The old bird has really strong OP rocket that do about 30 hits of damage when they hit you. If the rockets hit the floor under your feet, then it one-shots you. The old birds have a move where they can grab you, and that grab is an insta kill because they blowtorch you to death. They can stomp on you, which does 70 damage and is extremely fast, so you can't even get near them. So they have really strong ranged attack, really strong close-up attack, and a one-shot move. They have extremely OP offense, and of course they're invincible, except to the number 2 spot, which can actually kill it. At the number 2 spot, I have the Earth Leviathan, and this is the only monster in the game that kills literally everything else. Like, except for the number 1 spot, this monster can kill every other monster that's outside, at least, even the old bird, which is why it earns the spot, because anything invincible, this monster can gulp up, including you, the players. So it's not sweet for you. It'll kill anything, including you. It has a large radius. Although you can sprint out of it, it varies in times between your reaction time for when you can avoid it. So sometimes you can avoid it, sometimes it's actually impossible to avoid because it's like 0.3 seconds from when it pops out of the ground. So it's actually a chance, depending on how hungry the Earth Leviathan really is, to kill you. Because of this, I'm putting it at the number 2 spot. And the number 1 spot, the most OP monster in the game is, if you've been paying attention, you already know it's the Ghost Girl. The Ghost Girl is invincible. It can only be seen by 1 player, and when it runs up on that player, it's one shot. There's nothing you can really do besides trying to avoid looking at the Ghost Girl, because she bases how she kills a person based off their paranoia, and that's it. There's really no counterplay to avoid the Ghost Girl besides moving your mouse smoothly across your screen, I guess. Every other monster you can pretty much avoid, but when it's the Ghost Girl, it's literally guaranteed death. And that's it. That's my list. What do you guys think? Let me know what your list will look like in the comments down below, and make sure to like and sub up for more tier lists. They low-key take a minute to make. I'm gonna try and put one out once a week. Thanks so much to everybody that made it this far, and thanks for clicking, I guess, if you're somebody who just clicked on it and then skipped all the way over here. But yeah, make sure to sub up because I'm gonna be streaming around 8 or 9 p.m. I'm tough at games, trust. And yeah, let me just stop yapping and let you go. See ya.